You're a leper, you're a prostitute, you're a banker, you're a tax collector. He didn't give a shit what you did for a living. And again, that resonates so strongly in the lean fire community. So, I don't mean to humble brag, but I'm pretty sure me and JC would have been bros back in the day had we ever met up IRL. So, what do you guys think? Was Jesus Christ the original fire prophet? Was he a fire bro? Was he into lean fire? I'd love it for you guys to jump in the comment section down below and share with me your perspectives. And what analogies, what metaphors related to Jesus Christ did I forget to bring up that prove even more so that he was into lean fire? What is up, you guys? Matt McKeever here, and so in today's video we're going to be talking about kind of an interesting topic. So a quick disclaimer first, if you're easily offended, if you're a very religious person, this maybe isn't the right video for you, because I'm going to be talking about Jesus Christ, who I consider to be the original fire prophet. When I actually take a look at Jesus Christ's life and compare kind of how he lived his life, or at least how we're told he lived his life, compared to a lot of the lean fire bloggers or vloggers that I've came across over my financial independence journey, there's actually quite a lot of symmetries. So let's take a look at the things we know about Jesus Christ to begin with. And so the first thing we kind of know is that we don't know a lot about what he was up to in his early 20s. And I'm going to theorize that the reason for that, the reason we don't know a lot about Jesus during his early 20s is bro was just too busy grinding that 80-90% savings rate so that he could get lean fire ASAP. And that leads me into kind of why I think we heard a lot about him in his late 20s, early 30s. That's when he hit fire. That's when he hit financial independence. That's when he could retire early and reach that platform of what I'm calling firepreneurship, but a lot of people just call financial independence. And the idea there is, in my opinion, he grinded really hard in his early 20s. Once he got through his early 20s, then it was time to relax and start preaching the good word. So let's first take a look at how Jesus lived. So he was always life hacking or couch surfing. Dude was not worried about getting a big Mick palace out in the Jerusalem suburbs. He was all focused about just small, tiny living. He was constantly traveling. He didn't have a big fancy house. He didn't have a big fancy palace or castle. He was a very modest individual. And that ties in pretty well with lean fire, the idea of modesty, because with lean fire, we're not worried. Our home is not our castle. It's simply a place for shelter. And I would argue that that's kind of how Jesus rolled as well. In addition to that, think about, I'm going to guess he picked up on some of his frugal habits from his parents. You know, there's that story about him being born in the manger because there was no space for at the inn. I kind of doubt that, to be honest. I bet that honestly, it was just Airbnb surge pricing and his parents were too frugal to pay that surge price, so they were like, man, let's just manger hack instead of paying that surge pricing at the end. Secondly, let's talk about how Jesus traveled. He was always, well actually, he pretty much just walked everywhere based on my knowledge. Maybe occasionally hitched a ride on a donkey. But first things first, no fancy whip, no fancy chariot, no fancy camel for this bro. He was all about small impact on his environment. Again, that ties in really well to the lean fire mantra. And so, yeah, no fancy whip. He wasn't worried about keeping up with the Pharisees. He was all about just getting there. It's an A to B transportation tool. So, you know, maybe he was cruising in that beat up used donkey rather than the brand new camel. But he still got from A to B, and that's all that really mattered. I mean, don't even get me started about Jesus' food budget. I mean, have you heard about how he was able to stretch his budget? With just a couple loaves of bread and a couple fish, he was able to feed hundreds, if not thousands of people? I mean, that sounds pretty frugal to me. That sounds very lean fire as well. Take a think about that. Bread and fish. Sounds like dude was kind of shopping the perimeter of the grocery store. Another thing that you're gonna find very common with a lot of lean fire individuals as well. Oh, and as a side note, also, you've heard about that story about the water to wine? Yeah, Jesus was definitely a home brewer as well. He realized there was no sense paying for that fancy marketing campaign that Amheiser, what would be a better pun? Yeah, whatever. And so we've all heard about Jesus kicking the Pharisees out of the temple. And again, he wasn't worried about keeping up with the Pharisees, wasn't worried about keeping up with the Romans. He wasn't keeping up with the Joneses. He was doing his own thing. He was living life in his own lane. And again, that ties in really well with a lot of us lean fire individuals. We're not focused on keeping up with the Kardashians or the Joneses or whoever or whatever. We're focused on us, not other people. And so Jesus even marched to the beat of his own little drummer boy. And what I mean by that is he wasn't concerned about social norms whatsoever. You're a leper, you're a prostitute, you're a banker, you're a tax collector. he didn't give a shit what you did for a living. And again, that resonates so strongly in the lean fire community. It's not about what do you do for a living, it's about what are you passionate about. And he was passionate about helping people. He was passionate about making a difference. He was passionate about having, I would argue, a small impact on the environment around him. And another way we know Jesus was all about lean fire was he was all about slow travel. He wasn't just going to those all-inclusive trips, you know, to Jerusalem. He was slow traveling. He was taking his time. He was learning the culture, meeting the people. Rather than simply working 50 weeks of the year and then going on 2 weeks of binge vacation, bro had the time to take his time while traveling. He got to see the sights, smell the flowers, meet the people. And again, that resonates so strongly with a lot of us in the lean fire community that, I mean, how can you even argue that Jesus wasn't into lean fire? And so there's a joke that's always stood out for me. And it's a joke that it goes something like this. So the real miracle, the way you really know that Jesus Christ was a miracle worker was, think about it, how many dudes do you know in their mid-30s that are able to have deep friendships with 12 other dudes? And so the joke there being is that usually mid-30s dudes are way caught up in life and blah, blah, blah. And they or we don't have time to still have those deep friendships that maybe you had in college or high school. But somehow Jesus pulled it off, and I would argue a lot of that's due to lean fire. As well, I think there's a lesson we can take away from that. And that lesson is, it's not just about your net worth, guys. It's also about your network. And so you've heard me talk about the importance of your network all the time, and that resonates doubly true for lean fire individuals. We don't need to own everything. We just need to know people that maybe own the things that we need, and we can borrow, use, and more effectively use those assets, those capital, those resources that you maybe occasionally need, but you don't always need. So, what do you guys think? Was Jesus Christ the original fire prophet? Was he a fire bro? Was he into lean fire? I'd love it for you guys to jump in the comment section down below and share with me your perspectives and what analogies, what metaphors related to Jesus Christ did I forget to bring up that prove even more so that he was into lean fire. So, if you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to my channel, and until next time, remember, making money is a team sport. There's more than enough money in this world for us to all make it, but if you're not saving it, I mean, like, what's the point, guys? Thanks, bye! And so, do you want even more proof that Jesus was into lean fire? That he was a lean fire guru before there were lean fire gurus? Well, let's think about it this way. He's also like the only life guru you've ever met that's not selling you shit. And it's a pretty common theme again. Guys like Mr. My Mustache, Early Retirement Extreme, and all the real authentic internet forums, websites, and communities out there that are focused on lean fire. Like, none of them are focused on selling you shit because they don't need to sell you shit because they got the shit they want, they need already. So, I mean, it's really just that simple. Why haven't you guys got into lean fire? I would love to know. Jump in the comment section down below and share with me your perspectives on lean fire and why you wouldn't want to get to that position, because I'm super curious, bro. Come at me in Jesus. Come at us, bro.